Hi, so I've got a little bit more about the fire sermon. Not much, because I don't want to spend too much distracting myself today. This picture, by the way, is from Beaulieu. I quite like the contrast between this sort of like abbey door and then the light that was up above it. That looks very sort of Victorian era. Okay, so I think I ended Sweet Thames Run Softly Till I End My Song, which is a bridal song from Prothallum, which I can't pronounce. So the Thames possibly relating to Tamar, and Softly in Song relating to a psalm, I think. And I know it comes after, but reminds me of Killing Me Softly for Frank Sinatra. The nymphs are departed may relate to Keats' Endymion. O woodland queen, what smoothest air thy smoother forehead woos. You'll have to excuse me, I'm very croaky. Where dost thou listen to the wide halloos of thy disparted nymphs, through what dark tree glimmers thy crescent? So there's this theme of a missing female. We had the tent is broken. Later there's references to Diana. So then we've got the river bears no empty bottles. If you just read the river bears, as in bears in a river, the bears of the Milky Way River, Ursa Major and Minor, that links with the Arthurian myth because Arthur means great bear. But it could also relate to an Ursula, a female, especially when we consider the empty bottles, which are vessels or perhaps wombs, virgins. So I came across a St. Ursula Virch Dynod. There's a lot of furore associated with the veracity of this because there's so many different versions. But I quite like the idea that she was the daughter of Dynod or Dionysus, king of Dumnonia, which is Devon, where I live. She had sort of promised herself to God. Her dad was pagan, but she wanted to be Christian, apparently. So when he said that she must marry, she couldn't say no, but she said she wanted to go on a pilgrimage with 11,000 virginal followers, which is a good excuse, right? But then apparently they were all massacred in Cologne. And I'm sure I've referenced like Eau de Cologne earlier in the whole tale of that. Other massacres. There's a church dedicated to her in the UK, Clan Gwyfferon, where Clan means holy and Gwyff means virgin or maiden. That is not the correct pronunciation, I'm aware. That's in Ceredigion on the River Wyre. There are several versions of the tale, including 10th century Pinosa or Vinosa, and her relics are said to be at the Basilica of St. Ursula in Cologne. I've said before that empty could relate to Shu, perhaps descendants of. But I think with the no empty bottles, you said there's no virgins. What was sandwiches wrapped in? Brown paper or perhaps newspaper, reference to Newt's absence? Silk handkerchiefs could be related to John 27. I think handkerchief and napkin are interchangeable. There are other references to touching a handkerchief for healing. A napkin could also be a rag, couldn't it, used during menstruation? Heirs of city directors, perhaps links to Le Directeur poem, which mentions Tamis and newspapers. And I've run out of time. Thanks for listening.